ice cream is associated with like the pinnacle of unhealthiness. It really is. Like people binging on ice cream, people being, it's associated in a very negative connotation, but ironically, when using high quality versions of ingredients used to create ice cream, it's actually one of the healthiest foods you could eat. And especially these circumstances that I'm making it under, it's a very high vitamin food, it's very low inflammatory, and I mean there might be a little bit of, you know, questionable depending on how much sugar you add to it, but I don't see a problem with it personally. So I'm going to show you guys how to make some super healthy ice cream. And what we're pretty much doing is we're using grass-fed dairy, high quality egg yolks, and raw honey as a substitute for sugar. So all you really need is going to be the cream, the honey, and the eggs. I'm a little bit worried that the raw cream I bought is like super duper thick. It's like unreasonably thick. So maybe I should have bought light cream, or maybe I should have bought some milk to add to it. But I'm hoping the egg yolks are going to thin it out. Since the egg yolks are pastured raised, they're slightly darker than what I'm used to seeing, especially in New York. To my understanding, the measurements for ice cream are usually around 3 cups of dairy to 1/4 cup of sugar to like 4 large egg yolks. So I'm using like 1.5 cups of dairy. So I think we're going to do 3 egg yolks. And I'm going to go really light on the sugar. Maybe we'll only do like a tablespoon of sugar. And we'll see how this turns out. Because last time I made this, it was a little too sweet. So we got our 3 egg yolks and our 1.5 cups of cream. I'm going to eyeball about a tablespoon of raw honey. So the cream is higher in vitamins than, you know, regular cream. It has vitamin A, it has vitamin K. The egg yolks have a higher fat-soluble vitamin content as well. And the honey just has beneficial bacteria, enzymes, has lower glucose and fructose, and just better ratios. It digests much better. But you know, since we're consuming it with a ton of healthy fats and vitamins, I don't consider any amount of honey you add to this to be anything to really worry about. And I think that this is actually good. The egg yolks really thinned it out. It's still pretty thick, but I just want to try to stir this up more and get the honey to melt. Because this cream was cold, so the honey's a little bit solid. Could have made more, actually. I think I will. Alright, so let me actually... and you guys could use whatever ice cream recipe you want. The principle is just to get high quality raw dairy and high quality eggs. So this is the unreasonably thick cream. So we're like 5 egg yolks, maybe 3 cups of cream. Pretty close to classic ice cream ratios. I'll add another tablespoon of honey. And that's good. Now this doesn't have to be super mixed, like super well mixed, because I'm going to freeze it and then throw it in the food processor. But what we really want to do is just kind of make sure the honey's melted and distributed evenly, because when honey's put into like cold dairy, it just kind of clumps up and doesn't really distribute evenly. So at this point, I actually would stop, because I bought all this high quality dairy and I want to freeze it. Like, I don't want to degrade any bacteria or lose any bacteria or beneficial nutrients. So for myself, you know, I would just eat this as is, put it in the fridge. But since most people like ice cream, we're going to throw it in a bag, put it in the freezer. But first, I want to taste it and see how sweet it is. That is so good. And you don't even taste the honey. I could probably drink this whole thing. You know, I was gonna add vanilla to this. And I was also anticipating the honey flavor to be much more prominent. So I could argue that this would be like honey flavored ice cream, but you don't really get the honey flavor. It's just the dairy flavor is so pleasant and it's so good. I don't think I'm going to add anything else to this. So we'll just freeze it and see how it blends up. Put the mixture in a freezer bag, preferably not like this, pouring in the middle of my kitchen. And you know what's interesting? A lot of that honey actually settled to the bottom. So I would argue we have like 1.5 tablespoons of honey in here, which is only like 30 grams of sugar. So I'm going to squeeze the air out of this bag. I I don't think this is too important of a step, but do it anyway for my OCD. Now, you know, this ice cream, I mean, this liquid is obviously much deeper yellow color than you've ever seen ice cream, especially considering, like, at most you'll see maybe a slight light beige tint to it, but this, you know, this is definitely yellow, leaning actually closer to, I wouldn't say orange, but it's definitely a dark yellow color. It's noon right now. Hopefully it'll be done before today. Maybe not. Maybe we'll make it tomorrow. So it's been about 7 hours, and I don't think this is getting any harder. Yeah. So I don't know how I'm going to get this out of here. I think I'm just going to rip the bag. That should work. It's kind of working. It's kind of working. Break off some, let me put on some gloves. I mean, I don't know, I kind of like it like this too. So it's not bad. I could just freeze it. But let's blend it up and see if it's any better. Is this gonna break my food processor? This doesn't seem like a good idea. You know, I've had this like $30 food processor for a couple years now. I'm very surprised at the amount of stuff I've blended in it. From like hard as a rock dried beef jerky to like ridiculous amounts of sweet potatoes. What's a little rock hard heavy cream gonna do? Alright, so my food processor smells like the battery's about to explode. So this was definitely not, this definitely did not work out as I had anticipated. So I think if I had, of course, if I had like an industrial food processor like a RoboCoupe, I think I could have done it, but I think another part of the problem might have been the cream was just too thick. But this is pretty good. And since that heavy cream was so thick, this is more like gelato than ice cream. I think I liked it better warm. I think my teeth are very sensitive to cold stuff, so I can't actually eat ice cream. My teeth are really very sensitive nerve endings. But this is a type of ice cream that won't make you feel bad if you eat a whole bowl of it, because it doesn't have too much sugar, but you know, the calories can still add up. You know, it's crazy to think you can eat 2,000 to 3,000 calories of this ice cream and still get like half as much sugar as most people get in their diet every day. So all in all, I think the flavor of this is very good. Obviously, you know, if you care a lot about the integrity, get an ice cream machine, maybe try it with a higher quality food processor, or maybe use some milk and some cream. Or hey, if next time I'll try and make this with just lighter cream, or maybe mix some milk into it, and I'll see if it works in the food processor then. Overall, all we really did was we just paid for a much higher vitamin content with the cream and the eggs.